When deciding whether to bring a lawsuit against a doctor who you believe was careless and caused you significant harm, you are terrified. You are very afraid of the fact that once you go ahead and start a lawsuit, that the doctor whom you have sued is going to pick up the phone to call you to ask you questions about why you sued him. Is that really going to happen? Is that really a fear that you have to worry about? Would you like to know the answer? Come join me for a walk near the beach area as I share with you the answer to that question. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. That's a fair question. You are concerned that when you go ahead and bring a lawsuit against a doctor whom you once loved, who you put your life in his hands, and now you trusted him with everything that you had, you are now worried that when you go ahead and sue him, bring a lawsuit against him for negligence, for medical malpractice, that he's going to pick up the phone and call you. You don't want to talk to him. You don't want to have to say anything to him. You don't want to have to justify your actions to this doctor because you are terrified. You are afraid you're going to have a breakdown and not be able to communicate with him and tell him the real reason why you are going ahead and bringing a lawsuit. Is that going to happen? In all likelihood, the answer is no. I can tell you that I've been doing this now more than 34 years, and in all that time, I think that's happened maybe once or twice in my entire career. The doctor really knows that there's absolutely no purpose to pick up the phone to call you and say, hey, why did you sue me? Why are you bringing a lawsuit against me? I did nothing wrong. The doctor really knows that doing that will accomplish absolutely nothing. He's not going to get any real information from you, and even if he does, it's not going to change or alter the course of your case. If he calls you up and says, listen, I'm sorry what happened, it never should have happened, that's not going to alter whether or not you go forward and proceed with your case. Why? Because your injuries are permanent. Your injuries and limitations and restrictions are disabling. And now, no one's going to compensate you for all the harms and losses and injuries you suffered simply because the doctor said, I'm sorry, I understand that, but this is a known risk and complication of the treatment. The doctor's not going to take out his checkbook and voluntarily write you a check to compensate you for all of your injuries. If you think for a second that the doctor's going to pick up the phone and call you after you start a lawsuit and apologize and now ask you, okay, how much do you want for your injuries? And then say, okay, fine, let me get a checkbook, I'll write it out and I'll mail it to you. Well, no, that's not how it works, and that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that the doctor will take that document that you used to start your lawsuit, called a summons and a complaint. He will now forward that to his attorney or to his insurance company, and now the insurance company will hire an attorney that's on retainer, and then they will have a limited time in which to answer the allegations in your case. And now you are off to the races, meaning now your case is going to proceed down through the litigation phase. Now, don't think for a second that the doctor is going to pick up the phone to call you to apologize. He's not going to do that. He may feel that. He may have in his mind, okay, I'm so sorry that this happened, that you suffered these injuries, but he's not going to call you and admit that he did anything wrong. He knows better than that. He knows that if he picks up the phone to call you and apologize, that is going to be used against him in your lawsuit. And how could it be used against him in your lawsuit? Simple. After he calls you and expresses this information to you, you are going to pick up the phone and call your lawyer and say, hey, I just got a call from the doctor whom I sued. And your attorney will ask you the details about that conversation. And he will make note of it. And now, many months later, your attorney will have an opportunity to go ahead and question the doctor whom you have sued in a process called the deposition. That is a question and answer session that's given under oath. And the answers that are given in this pretrial process called the deposition, which, by the way, it's also called an examination before trial, the answers that the doctor gives represent his sworn testimony. And even though this is not taking place in court, now, guess what? It carries the same exact weight as if he is testifying at trial in front of a judge and in front of a jury. So the answers that he gives are critically important. And your attorney, based upon that conversation that you had with the doctor at the very beginning of your case, will ask the doctor questions about that conversation. And the doctor will either admit that conversation or he will deny it. If he admits it, now your attorney will ask him many follow-up questions about whether he said certain things. And again, the doctor will either admit it or deny it. And that can be a very useful tool to try and contradict the doctor if he goes ahead and tries to deny that this conversation took place. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you to open your eyes that some people are so worried about the fact that, hey, if I start this lawsuit and the doctor calls me, am I going to have to talk to him? Is he going to apologize? What can I expect if he does call me? What should I say to him if he calls me? In most cases, this just does not happen. You know, I realize you're watching this video because you likely have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York, and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit but have not done so because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a great day.